Hello, welcome to this next episode in this series. And today, like last time, I'm going to be talking about one of the core foundational principles or models that's going to be underpinning so much of what we talk about in this playlist. And this one perhaps more even so than last week's, because today I'm going to be talking about the drama triangle. If you've not heard of it before, no worries. I'm going to talk about it more today, so you've got some insight into that. If you have heard about it, then this will probably be a really useful reminder for you. And as I was thinking about what I'm going to be sharing today, I thought, yeah, this really is going to be the foundation of pretty much every conversation we have, given that we're talking about the leadership of relationship, and relationships, more often than not, are in some way connected into the drama triangle unless you've done a lot of work on yourself and you're very conscious and you're very aware and you are moving through the world as an adult, then and notice if you take offense at me suggesting you're not moving through the world as an adult. We'll talk about that in a second. Um, but yeah, so if you're a person, if you've had some challenging experiences in life, I will guarantee that somewhere in your life you are feeling caught in the drama triangle in some way or another. But let's find out. So, if you've not heard of the drama triangle before, it's a very simple model. Imagine a triangle that's upside down, and in the top corner we've got persecutor, in this other top corner we've got rescuer, and down at the bottom point here we've got victim. And this was a psychological model which I actually learnt way, way back. So when I first started my business, it was as an executive coach. Coaching isn't my primary work now, but back then that was where I began. That was what first brought me out of corporate life into having my own business. And because I trained with a wonderful organization called Barefoot Coaching, who have their groundings in psychotherapy, we learned a lot of psychotherapeutic tools, approaches, models, theories. And one of them was this drama triangle. And it's one of those things that once you see it everywhere. You'll see it in your personal life, you'll see it in your work relationships, you'll see it with other people playing out, and it even plays out with circumstances and things. And I'll talk about more about that in a minute. So really what this triangle is saying is that this drama triangle is what most relationships are caught up in, and that each person in a relationship will be taking one or other role at any particular time. And we can switch roles at any particular time. So, for example, let's use a classic situation of a bully, the persecutor being the bully in the playground, the victim being the other kid who's being bullied, and the rescuer being another child, a teacher, playground assistant, a parent, depending on where the context is. And so the rescuer comes in to solve this situation, to get the victim, the child, out from this dynamic with the bully, the persecutor. It's like the most simple way of thinking about it. But it shows up everywhere. So if I take some examples from people I've worked with, the persecutor could be a fellow board member. So I've had clients who've come because they feel like a fellow board member has betrayed them and isn't living up to the deal that was expected when they came on board. And so this other board member is the persecutor. My client comes up feeling like victim and usually very frustrated with feeling like victim. And the rescuer is not me. That is not my job. But they might have tried various different things to rescue themselves from the situation. They might have tried to step back and create distance. They might have tried to rescue themselves by jumping in. There might be somebody else on the board who's tried to rescue the relationship and create some shift, some movement. But fundamentally, can't draw a triangle with my hands. How do you do that? That way around. Fundamentally, they're stuck in that dynamic. And that's a real feature of when you're in the drama triangle, it feels stuck, it feels sticky, it feels intractable sometimes. It feels repeating, like you keep repeating, you keep falling into one or other of these roles. Another example. a client of mine felt like they'd been thrown under the bus by somebody who they thought was on their side. So again, persecutor is this other person, client feeling like a victim to them, and rescuer. In fact, this one individual had a rescuer who was another colleague who was trying to resolve the situation and make it right on based on the evidence and the facts of what was actually going on. Um, so these, as I say, these play out all the time, and actually just to give an example of that switch in role. So this client said, I've realized I'm being a persecutor to my wife. So it's most common when we're feeling victim to say, oh my God, this feels awful. I need something to change this. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of self-awareness to say, oh my God, I was the persecutor. I was the one who was being the antagonist, the bully, the unfair autocrat or authoritarian. And so this client actually came saying, I can see how I instigated this friction. I can see how I was like holding on to it in this like righteous, I'm entitled to be feeling like this. Like I want to stay angry. I want to stay frustrated. So they were in this persecutor role of up here, making the wife a victim and self-aware enough to realize that's what he was doing. And the rescuer, again, it might seem like it's me because I'm helping the person solve the problem. But in that moment, in fact, this person chose to rescue themselves. So again, see that flip in the relationship, flipping from persecutor to rescuer. Right, how do I try and save myself from this? How do I get myself out of this? And so he tried various things like writing down what had been going on, uh, getting present with the feelings that were there in the moment, sleeping, what can I do to rescue myself from this situation? None of them worked, hence he ended up with me. That sounds like he ended up with me. He came to me for a more permanent and helpful solution. Because in any of these drama triangle situations, what's really going on is we're activating the horse shit. So if you watched the last video, and if you haven't, of course, go back and watch it. I'll put the link in the description, but I'll also make it the next video for you to watch after this one automatically. So that horse shit is the collected conditioning that we've gathered, the human conditioning, the subconscious patterns, the some people might call it dysregulated nervous system these days. Anything that feels bad, negative, yucky within ourselves about ourselves is always, or in relationship, is always horse shit. So when we're in the drama triangle, that way round, it's a test. It's a good cognitive test for my perimenopausal brain. Um, so when we're in the drama triangle, it is horse shit that has been activated, even in the rescuer role. So it's very easy to think, oh, yeah, rescuer, I'm such a good person. This is so positive. I am doing a good thing here. But actually, when it's coming from horse shit, it doesn't feel good. Not truly, not really. There's like a need within it. I need to help these people in order that I can maintain this identity of being a good person, in order that I can feel good about myself because I'm helping. Look what a good person I am because I'm helping these people. That's very indicative of that rescuer role. It's got this ick to it because it is needy. It needs to rescue. It's not grounded, it's not steady, it's not strong. It doesn't see the brilliance and capability of the other people involved. It sees a victim. It sees, oh, poor person, they're not as good as me. I'll need to rescue them out of their situation. So this rescuer role, although it can be thought of as a really positive one, it is also a manifestation of the horse shit. Persecutor is quite an obvious example of that, and so is victim. But so ultimately, all three positions are a manifestation of horse shit, and hence it always feels bad. A drama triangle will always feel bad. It will always feel sticky, stuck, difficult, complex, confusing. It will occupy far too much of your time, attention, and energy. It will be something that you perhaps think and think and think on in order to try and find a different solution, a breakthrough, a position of clarity. And it's something with which, if we think back to, again, that last video where I talked about the fact coaching, leadership development, these things are talking to the diamond in us. They are talking to that brilliance in us. And so through a coaching conversation, you may well get the clarity of, oh my goodness, I can completely see that dynamic playing out. I can completely see the role I've been playing in that. Now I'm clear about what I want to do instead, the role I want to play instead, the healthy, adult, grounded way to actually unlock this and move forward. And that really is you stepping out of the triangle. So when you're in that coaching session, what's happening is you're dropping the shit. Therefore, the drama triangle kind of collapses, and you are the observer of it. You're the awareness of it now. You're the conscious one. You're the adult who's able to say, "Ah, I can see what's going on. I can see this drama that's playing out. I can see who's playing each role. I can see how I'm flipping between, I don't know, persecutor and rescuer, and then victim. We can play all three within seconds. Whatever it is, you, as the diamond, are now seeing exactly what's playing out. Of course you can. Of course you can, because that's the health of who we are. That's the truth of who we are. And again, connecting back to last time, if we haven't actually resolved the horse shit, it will just come back again. You will find yourself in another drama triangle again. You will find yourself in similar patterns, perhaps with the same people, perhaps with different people, different contexts, different circumstances. But until you have removed the horse shit, it will keep coming back and it will keep creating drama triangles for you again and again and again. And to me, that's a good thing because the repeating nature of that gets boring. The repeating nature of that gets frustrating. The fact that no matter how much you're coached or guided or developed, you still keep going back into that same old pattern, no matter how much you try, is perfect. Because that is the sign to say, you need to do something more substantial here. You need to actually remove that whole shit and not just keep falling back into that same subconscious pattern and that same drama triangle dynamic. So, this position, the conscious one, the adult one, the one who's aware of this playing out, is the diamond you, is the truth of you. It's the position I hold, and absolutely I hold when I'm working with you, because I know you're a diamond. If you tell me any drama triangle stuff, I know that's not who you are. I know that's horse shit. Literally, it's not who you are. And I know it's optional for you. I know that you don't have to live with it. You don't have to keep being in those patterns. And the removal of them is no diminishment of you, it's an amplification of you. Because the removal of the horse shit is more you, it's more diamond, it's more strong, stable, grounded adult leader. And that's the position we want to be in. Of course, it's an essential position as a leader to be able to hold that space and to be the one who's not caught in the drama triangle. And so I've said the word adult a few times there, and I'd said it at the very beginning of this. And I wanted to bring it back in here because it's a perfect example where if that agitated you, riled you, triggered you, that's a perfect example of the drama triangle playing out right here and now. Because the fact is, most people in the world are carrying subconscious patterns from childhood, which play out in these drama triangles. Yes, we're wearing grown-up clothes. Yes, we're owning houses and cars. But when we're in the drama triangle, it's our childhood patterns playing out in some form or other. It is the horse shit, and therefore we're kind of like a child in a suit. We are like the young version of us trying to be an adult, or the young version of us playing out the same pattern in an adult context. So we're not really being an adult in that moment. If we're in a drama triangle pattern, we are not being an adult in that moment. But me saying that might actually trigger you. That might actually trigger you into the drama triangle. That might instantaneously make it look like I'm the persecutor and that you're the victim of that statement. You'll know that if you feel any kind of reaction against me suggesting that as a fact. If you're sitting there saying, how dare she? How dare she say I'm not an adult? She doesn't know who I am. How could she be so certain as to say that? Of course I'm an adult. Look at this. Look at what I've achieved. Look at what I'm capable of. Of course I'm an adult. And yes, you are an adult. But when you're in that drama triangle, you are not acting as an adult. No healthy, grounded, conscious adult would find themselves in that pattern because of the fact they're acting as the diamond. When you're the diamond, you cannot, it is literally impossible to get embroiled in a drama triangle. You catch sight of it, you step out of it, you don't even go into it, you can see it, and you have no interest in getting involved in that. You have no interest in taking up any of those three positions because you're in your strength of diamond position. You're in your true adult, who you're actually naturally designed to be right now. So, in the world today, you might therefore notice how where everybody's talking about being triggered actually means the horse shit has been activated and you've fallen into the drama triangle. You feel victim to something and you feel like somebody or something has to rescue you to get you back to feeling okay, which might be putting up more defenses. It might be shrinking your world. It might be trying to get people to change in order that they stop doing or saying that thing in order that you can feel okay. That's all drama triangle playing out. As far as I can see, we're seeing more and more and more of that in the world, of course, aided by the internet and social media because we get to see it so easily. And as I said at the beginning, you may well notice it now in so many places. You see this playing out. And really consider this for yourself too. Notice the places where you are getting caught in the drama triangle. It could be your kids when they're upset. I had a client whose little kids were getting upset and he could not handle it. He hated that feeling of them being upset and feeling like he couldn't do anything to help them. So he, in that moment, was victim to his little kids being the persecutor. And then he would switch into rescuer, try and rescue the kids, either from their own suffering or from the caregiver who, in that moment, it looked like they weren't doing a good enough job. I have to rescue my kids from this awful caregiver who can't look after them properly. I have to rescue myself from this awful feeling because I feel like I can't look after my kids properly. Clients come feeling victim to their bank balances, their P&L, their business performance, the government, policies, corporate dynamics, stakeholders, investors, the strategy. If the strategy's not going how I thought it should be going, now I'm victim to that, or I'm victim to my team because they're not doing what I wanted them to do. Or I'm victim to this person who's expecting a pay rise and I don't think I can deliver that. And now I'm going to have a difficult conversation. And now I feel victim to the idea of having a difficult conversation. The difficult conversation becomes the persecutor. And so all of these places are places where it's the drama triangle playing out. They're all places where you do not have to be in that kind of dynamic. You do get to remove the horse shit and step into diamond, which means that yes, there'll be things to do. Yes, there'll be a conversation to have. Yes, there'll be a need to check on strategy or check on team engagement. Yes, there might be things to do with giving feedback to caregivers. Yes, there might be things to learn about how to take care of your kids better. Yes, there might be feedback to people about that behavior is not acceptable. There might be boundaries to put in, not to shrink your world, to maintain, to expand your world. Of course, there can be things to do. When it's done as the diamond, there's no persecutor energy, there's no victim energy, and there's no rescuer energy. It's you, in charge of you, grounded, solid, clear, clean, certain. certain in yourself about what's right for you, what's right for the team, what's right for the situation, what's right for the bigger purpose or goal or direction of travel. When you're back in charge in that place, there are just things to do. It's not problems. It's not an issue. It's just some things to do. And that's what you know to be the truth when you're in that grounded, clear state of the diamond, when you're outside of that drama triangle. So I'm going to leave this here today because I do think that this pattern, as I say, this theory, this model, is going to keep coming up again and again and again through the subsequent conversations we're going to have. Because as you've just had an insight to, this shows up at home, this shows up in teams, this shows up in relationship to the business, the strategy, the profit levels, the investors, the stakeholders. It's it's everywhere because we are in relationship everywhere with everyone and everything. And so my hope is that through this you get to raise awareness to where you are in that drama triangle. Sometimes all you need is that reminder, and you'll instantly find yourself back in the diamond position, and you may well just stay there. Sometimes all you need is that insight, and you never engage in that drama triangle pattern again. Sometimes you might come to see that you're trying that, and it just keeps happening. And then that's the kind of time when clients come to me because they realize there's some horse shit. It needs removing. So thank you for watching and engaging and listening. If there's anything you want to share, ask. As always, get in touch. I'll put the link in the website or drop a comment below. And I look forward to talking to you soon.